This September the 18th, Picks edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code MLB SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is, let's have a look, Tuesday, September the 17th. We are here to handicap the main action on the diamond for Wednesday, September the 18th. Joining me from somewhere in New York is Mr. Dylan Rockford. D-Rock, what's happening?
I'm doing well, Malcolm. Good to be with you today. Usually I'm not on Tuesdays, but happy to be here. And I'm still rolling. Liverpool, tough loss against Nottingham this weekend. I mean, I told you over the week, it was amazing. When I saw it 1-0, it was just amazing. On the road,
well, you asked me last week if you should bet them, and I said, mate, they're 11-1 for a reason. And then Nottingham did the business. But yeah, it's been a good night of football tonight. Callum, one of our regular Premier League listeners, has just joined us in the chat here for a bit of MLB action. But he can vouch for me. We've hit loads of stuff tonight. Bayern Munich won 9-2, but I gave out Harry Kane hat-trick at 8-1. Aston Villa won. They did the business for me. There was a League Cup winner, Sheffield Wednesday, won in the Cup. Baz did all sorts of things as well. So if you want some winners, we might just be in decent form. So get across and look at that. Your Mets, Dylan, don't look now, but another comeback win last night, a walk-off, and the Braves got shellacked last night, which absolutely puts the Mets in control of this wildcard race, Dylan.
Yeah, we're second place right now in the division, 8 games. I think it's a little done. I don't think we'll win the division. Got 11 games left. We'd have to virtually win outright, which I don't think we will. We do have a couple games with the Phillies, but, you know, we control our own destiny. We're still a game above Atlanta. I think it's just going to come down to us three, Arizona, Mets, and Atlanta. You know, we're only a game behind Arizona as well. They just lost the other night as well. So I don't think we'll catch San Diego. But, yeah, we definitely control our own destiny. And hopefully, you know, Francisco Lindor, last night was a must win with Lindor not being there with his back spasm. Thank God it wasn't anything serious. But hopefully we could right the ship until he gets back. But, yeah, good series with the Nationals. And then tough series against Philly.
Yeah, I was going to mention the Diamondbacks because everyone's talking about the Braves and the Mets going head-to-head. But you've kind of crept up on the D-backs. And when the D-backs dropped on, I think they had a throwing error. Geraldo Perdomo had a throwing error late on, and they dropped that game in the Rockies. And all of a sudden, the Mets don't just have the Braves to beat. They could also run down the Diamondbacks as well. And I think there's a 3-game set before the end of the season, Braves-Mets. Is that right?
No. Oh, yeah. After the Phillies, we go on the road. 6 games. We play 3 in Atlanta, and I think 3 to end the season in Milwaukee. So tough road stretch to end the season, but we need to win these games at home against the Nationals and the Phillies.
But it was a night of comebacks last night. Cleveland came back. We'll talk about that when we get to their game. Detroit. We need to talk about. Myself and Munaf spent a few minutes talking about the Tigers last night. They came back twice from losing positions. So, yeah, certainly it's already got a playoff feel about it. Myself and Munaf mentioned this last night, that a lot of the games have this playoff feel about it. Yeah, and I'm really excited for it. We're going to start. In fact, I'm going to start by telling you to wage war on corporate gambling with us at SGPN. Do your duty in that war by rating this show, reviewing it, subscribing, and most importantly, tell a friend. Word of mouth is the heartbeat of SGPN, so we appreciate all of that. And we start tomorrow's games. So this is Wednesday night with a 3:10 Eastern first pitch between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Colorado Rockies. We have left-handed pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez for the Diamondbacks. For the Rockies, it will be left-hander Austin Gomber. The Rockies are plus 120. The Diamondbacks are minus 142. The total here is at 10.5. The first thing, immediately, you'd say the Diamondbacks have to be good value at minus 142. At any time against the Rockies, lots to play for, better team, better pitcher. They're just, without looking at anything, I don't think that's a bad price at all. Getting into it a little bit more, Erod has been absolutely bang average. 4 to 5 innings, 3 to 5 earned runs. He's got a 6.19 career ERA in Coors Field, which isn't great. And the Diamondbacks have lost his last 3, although plenty of those are going over the total. And Austin Gomber's pitched well lately, 14 innings and only 3 earned runs in his last 2 starts. Both wins against the Cubs and the Braves. A 4.30 home ERA is good in Coors Field. I was kind of drawn to taking Colorado when you looked at the pitching matchups, but the offense and the bullpen numbers put you off.
Yeah.
The last 14 days, Arizona, and not a market we get into very often, but the last 14 days, the Yerfies have been hitting, Dylan. I know Gio likes a Yerfie. 7-4 for Arizona, and 9-3 for the Rockies. So you can get a yes run first inning. But I'm going to take a Colorado team total. Total's up there at 10.5. This could very well be a big old shootout. I'm not ruling out a good start for Austin Gomber, though. So the angle for me is going to be a Colorado team total of over, which I reckon over 4.5 is probably the line, Dylan.
Yeah, Mal, I thought the same thing initially when I saw the line. I was like, there might be some value here with Rockies. They've been playing better baseball as of late than the Snakes. 4 of the last 5 they've won. They took 2 or 3 from the Cubs in a crucial series. And I mean, I don't know what's wrong with the Cubs. I think they're kind of done. But, I really didn't know if I fully trusted Erod either. He hasn't been the best on the road, 3+ runs given up in 2 of his 3 starts on the road. And like you mentioned, Austin Gomber has been good in the month of September and kind of up and down with against the Snakes. And I made the Snakes a minus 150. So at minus 142, I do like it. But, you mentioned team total over for the Rockies. I actually like the team total over for the Snakes. I know they laid an egg in game 1. They only scored 2 runs, but they're averaging 7.2 runs per game the past 5 days. So I don't trust this Rockies bullpen. So even if Austin Gomber goes well, which I do think he can at home, I think that bullpen's going to blow it up. And I would stay away from the side if I'm being honest. I do think the Snakes are the right side at minus 142, but it is getting up there in price. Think Rockies could be live. I think it's going to be a shootout. I like the over 11. I made my total 11.7. So love the over, but I think D-backs could get some runs here. I set my team total for 6.4. So I think the Snakes could bounce back here on offense.
Okay, so it's overs. Everyone wants some variety of the over. 6:35 Eastern first pitch is the San Francisco Giants at the Baltimore Orioles. Hayden Birdsong for the Giants, and for the O's, it is Dean Kramer who will go off at minus 166. The Giants plus 140. Total here is sitting at 8.5, Dylan.
Yeah, I love the Orioles here tomorrow, Mal. Still up and down in the second half. I know they're not playing the best baseball, 3-7 their last 10, but I do think this is a good spot for them. I made them a minus 160 favorite here at home. I know I personally haven't been the biggest fan of Dean Kramer, but he has put together back-to-back really good starts in the month of September. 1 run given up in the last 13 innings. Walks could still be an issue for him. Maybe look towards a walk prop for him. But, he's going long into games. He still gets strikeouts are high for him. But, this is more of a fade on the Giants on the road and Hayden Birdsong on the road. The Giants, they've lost 4 in a row right now. They've been shut out in 3 of the 4, which is really concerning for offensively. They just can't get it together. And I don't know if tomorrow will be any different. Birdsong, he's not that good on the road. At home, I think he's a safer bet, but just on the road, I just can't back him. The Giants have lost his last 7 starts. I think tomorrow will be 8. So, yeah, maybe that unit and a half play, but I do like the Orioles here.
Yeah, I think you've hit most of the keynotes on the head there, Dylan. Birdsong was better last time out, 5 scoreless against the Brewers, but I still don't want to bet him, especially on the road. 5.70 ERA on the road. Dean Famous had back-to-back good starts, 13 innings, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts in each of those. He's been fairly average, though, generally speaking. I mentioned last night that Baltimore was struggling against the good teams, the teams over 500. They haven't won a series against over 500 teams since June the 4th. So this should be a better spot for Kramer, and it should be a better spot for Baltimore. But they've very much been an under team lately, Baltimore. 2 teams that are hitting below 220 in the last 14 days. You've just talked us through how many shutouts the Giants have had recently. But I'm not keen on that Baltimore bullpen either, so we'll take the pens out of it. And I think we can get a first 5 under, Dylan. I'm quite happy with that. Next, I'm going to tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Pick'em is always adding to their awesome menu. They've got first touchdown projections now. Loads of ways to win with NFL, college football, MLB, MMA, all kinds of things. I think we did okay last night with our higher on Saquon Barkley receptions. Dallas Goedert was near his receiving yards. I can't remember if he went higher or lower, to be fair, but we hit the Barkley. Use our code MLB SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MLB SGPN. Next up is the game of the evening, certainly the pitching matchup of the evening. It's a 6:40 Eastern first pitch between the Houston Astros and the San Diego Padres. Left-handed pitcher Framber Valdez for Houston. For the Padres, it will be Dylan Cease. It is close on the books, as you'd expect. The Padres are -104. Houston slight favourites at -112. And the total sits at 7.5. Yeah, great matchup. Framber Valdez, 14-6 on the year, 2.91 ERA, 20 1/3 innings, 1 earned run in his last 3 starts, 20 strikeouts in that span as well. Dylan Cease, actually, his numbers weren't as good as I kind of remembered them being. I think he went really well last time, and I think that clouded me. He had 10 strikeouts against the Giants, but he hadn't been too sharp before that. And back-to-back starts against Giants, which I think enabled him to make an adjustment that last time out as well. So I'm not necessarily trusting Cease. The Padres won a tight one on Monday night, but I don't want to get in front of Valdez. The Padres 1-2 against lefties in the first 5 on the last 3 occasions. I like Valdez just a little bit more on the body of work over the last month or so rather than that last Cease start. I'm going to take Houston first 5, Dylan.
Yeah, great series, like you said, with these 2 teams. Both teams on fire. Winners of 4 of the last 5 games. I think 2 really good pitchers. I agree. I do think Valdez is the better of the 2. I like the under, if I'm being honest, 7.5. I set my total at 7.2. First game of the series was a dead under game, finishing 3-1. Padres have been an under team. 4 of the last 5 games have gone under. I just think both pitchers, they're going to bring their A game. Like you said earlier in the start of the show, we're starting to see playoff baseball a little early here, especially with these type of teams that we will see in the postseason. So I just think they're going to bring their A game tomorrow. Even though I made the Padres a -110 favorite, like, to be honest, I agree. I think the Astros are the better team. I think they're live here. I think they have the better pitcher. They definitely have the better bullpen. And I think their lineup could go head-to-head with the Padres. The Padres are better against lefties anyway to begin with. So I don't know. I lean Astros, but it goes against my number. But if anything, I do lean under 7.5. I set my total at 7.2.
Michael has joined us in the chat. We're having a little bit of soccer chat in there. Apologies to everybody else, but Michael had a few winners as well. So welcome along. Get some baseball picks in there. Appreciate you joining us. Next game, we will go to. We won't go at the top of the page. That's later on. Next up is 6:40 Eastern between the Minnesota Twins and the Cleveland Guardians. It is Bailey Ober for the Twins, and Tanner Beebe goes for the Guardians. Another tight one on the books. Minnesota -104. Cleveland -112. Total 7.5. Dylan, tight again.
Yeah, tight. This is a good game. I'm going to take the Guardians here at home, at this pick'em price. I made them a -145 favorite. I haven't been too high on the Twins the last week or so. I just don't think they're playing really good baseball at all. They can't score runs consistently. Their bullpen hasn't been good. Meanwhile, the Guardians, they're playing well right now. They're keeping the lead in the AL Central, about 5 games in first place. They took the first game of this series as well. And they're still one of the best teams. The Guardians are at home, 46-27 straight up at home this season. And, say what you want about Tanner Beebe, but he's been great against the Twins this season. 2-0 with a 1.50 ERA, just 3 runs given up in 3 total starts and 18 innings pitched. With the amount of success he had against the Twins, now catching them again while they're struggling offensively, I just think this is a great spot for the Guardians at home against Beebe. I'm going to fade Bailey Ober in this spot, and the Twins, they're struggling right now. I think this is it's a nice spot, and I think we're getting a very low price on them. So like I said, I made them a -145 favorite. I'm going to take the Guardians here at home.
Yeah, team right, Dylan. I love this. Absolutely love this. One of my favourite picks on the night for several reasons, the majority of which you outlined beautifully. Ober's really inconsistent. Last 5 starts, we've got 5-0-1-9-3. So that's all the outcomes on the table there. He's got decent career numbers against the Guardians, 2-2 with a 2.13 ERA, if you wanted to make case. He was in really good form through the summer, but not as much now as we're getting on towards the back end of the season. Beebe's fairly similar lines, to be honest, quite middling, not quite as good at home. I thought it was hard to favour either pitcher. There's just too many variables in there. But Cleveland won late Monday night with another comeback game. Beautifully put together, by the way, by Stephen Vogt. I tell you what, I thought today for the first time, Dylan, I mentioned this on the show a lot, that I think I'm in year 8 now of my baseball fandom. Well, in 45 years watching football, all the old players that I used to like are now managers. I think Stephen Vogt's the first player of my era that's sort of become a manager. So I feel like my baseball fandom's reached a new level. I've unlocked a new achievement, which is seeing players I used to watch.
What about Craig Counsell?
I don't remember him as playing.
Okay.
Nah, I think Vogt's the first one. And if you watch his press conference after the game, he was crying. He had a tear in his eye. Man, the players run through a wall for him.
I love it.
So that was a positive for me. I prefer their recent form. I prefer the home form. They are 8-2 against the Twins this season. They've absolutely dominated the Twins. And if it gets close, Clase last night locked down his 33rd consecutive save. So Emmanuel Clase is not mucking about when he gets involved. So yeah, all of those things on top of yours, Dylan. It is a team right on the Cleveland Guardians. Next game is, I'm absolutely going to forget to go back to the Mets, but we'll crack on with the Atlanta Braves at the Cincinnati Reds, which is 6:40 Eastern first pitch. It's one of the biggest names in baseball going for the Braves. It's Spencer Schwellenbach, who will take on Jacob Junis of the Reds. -142 Atlanta, +120 Cincinnati. Total here is 8.5. Schwellenbach is still going really, really well. You kind of might expect the rookie to have a dip in form or suffer a bit of fatigue, but he just hasn't. From July onwards, his ERA has been sniffing around an even 3. He's really consistent. He's fine on the road. No issues with swelling back at all. Jacob Judas is doing okay. He's still getting stretched out. Has managed 5 innings in his last 2 starts. He's not walking anybody. And I can't give a reason that Junis won't go well. Like, the only reason is because you know the name Jacob Junis, don't necessarily associate it. But I can only go on what he's done recently, especially against Atlanta, who are absolutely scuffling, shut out again on Monday night. Really tricky to split the teams here. Both lineups grade out similarly in the last couple of weeks. But it's the first 5 under numbers that led me to my bet, Dylan. Atlanta are 11-5-2, Cincinnati 13-10 to the first 5 under against right-handed pitching in the last 30 days. I wanted both pitchers on my side. So when I found a trend that backed me up there, I was happy to take that. So give me the first 5 under, Dylan.
You're probably right. Mikkel in the chat saying under as well. Playoff still, and let's not get ahead of ourselves. No, being a Met fan, we know it could all come crashing down very quickly for us. I'm actually going to be on the other side. This game honestly was very tough to handicap because, I only made the Braves a -126 favorite here. So maybe money could come in and maybe we could back the Reds because like you said, Jacob Junis has been good. I was in the building when he went up against the Mets and kind of shut the Mets out until that bullpen came in. But I just can't get behind this Reds offense right now. They're too inconsistent for me. Braves, they are hurt. Mikkel makes a good point. They are hurt, but they are averaging 4.63 runs per game on the road. And at some point, I guess I'm just handicapping or banking on Jacob Junis to regress at some point. He just can't keep this up, He's been good so far, but the Reds could never get him any run support. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of unders for his game. But once that bullpen comes up, I think they can wind up blowing it for him. I'm going to bank on both teams being able to score some runs here in a hitter's friendly ball, Great American Ballpark. Not my most confident play, but I will bank on the over. I made my total 9.3, so I'm going to slightly lean towards the over.
Okay, why not, Dylan? Like it. 6:40 Eastern first pitch is the LA Dodgers, who are at the Miami Marlins. The Dodgers will throw Landon Knack. For Miami, it is Edward Cabrera. Miami +144. The Dodgers -172. Dylan, the total is 9.
Yeah, not a game I'm running to the window to bet, but if you do want some actions, I probably would lean towards Dodgers team total over. Ryan Weathers is making his first start in over 2 months, coming off the 60-day IL.
But you got Weathers going?
Yeah, Ryan Weathers is going.
Oh, okay. I've got Landon Knack, but I can...
No, Landon Knack is going. Sorry. Landon Knack is going for the Dodgers, but Ryan Weathers is going for the Marlins.
Weathers, sorry. Yeah, I had Cabrera. Right, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so making his first start in over 2 months, and my rule of thumb, anyone who's been a listener, I just like to fade them coming off injured list, especially 2 months going up against a Dodger team. Even before the injury, he wasn't very good. I mean, to be honest, giving up a ton of hard contact runs as well. I know Landon Knack, he had a very poor outing in his last start versus the Braves, but the Dodgers are at least scoring runs consistently. So, I think Ryan Weathers is going to struggle here in his first start back against the Dodgers. They just put up 9 runs in back-to-back games against a much better Braves team. So I think this could get ugly. I think it could be a blowout. I'm going to take the Dodgers team total over 4.5, 5, whatever you're able to get.
Well, I had the over 9 as my pick while I thought it was Cabrera. And now that I'm seeing it's Weathers, I'm absolutely delighted to take the over 9. Knack has been pitching well. Atlanta blew him up last week. But his underlying metrics are a concern. There's loads of red stuff all over his page. Ryan Weathers, you just can't trust him in this spot here. Munaf pointed out last night that Miami have been a really strong overs team, which is
they have
counterintuitive. Like, you just wouldn't have thought without digging into the numbers. In the last 2 weeks, they are 9-3-1 to the over. So yeah, credit Munaf for that one. I don't want to get off it. I mean, Knack and Weathers in an over with overs teams. I mean, I can't stop saying over, Dylan.
Mal, at home,
yes.
Miami is 50-19 towards the over. It's not so.
Holy
It's not
shit.
so much their offense. I think it's how bad defensively they are.
Yeah, let's get involved with that then. That might be the bet of the day, Dylan. It could be potential. We're going to move on to the next few games once I've told you about BetUS. BetUS, the best in the business. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. Is available in loads of locations, including internationally. BetUS just launched an all-new live betting experience. You can deposit easily using crypto and get lightning fast payouts. Use our link to sign up and get 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN. So they know that we sent you. BetUS is America's favourite sportsbook. And Rhythm carry on their fine sponsorship here. Rhythm, the AI-powered sports betting platform. Rhythm AI had a great NFL week 2. I think it was the only people in the world who had a good NFL week 2. 22.5% return on investment on the NFL spreads and 44.3% ROI on the moneyline bets. You can build a model, you can copy a top performing model, all of those good things. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Back at the top of the page is a 7:10 Eastern first pitch, a game that Mr. Dylan Rockford will be attending between the Washington Nationals and the New York Mets. 2 left-handed pitchers here. DJ Hertz for the Nationals and Jose Quintana for the Mets, who are -162. The Nationals +136, and the total is at 7. Yeah, you're living the dream, Dylan, aren't you? This week, Mets tomorrow and the Jets on Thursday.
Yeah.
Are you getting paid too much, mate? What's happening here?
Oh no! You said you didn't have a good week too in the NFL. I had a really good week. Maybe that's why I'm able to go to these games. Yeah, living the dream.
Okay.
Don't wake me up. Don't pinch me. I'm living the dream right now. When you're going to a game, you got to have some action. I'm surprised, Mal, the total opened this low at 7. I got to take the over. My total came out to 8.3. If anything, I would lean Nationals team total under as well. Quintana has really turned it around recently, and he's had great success versus Nationals team this season. In 2 starts, he's given up 0 runs in 14 innings. He's just looked dominated against the Nationals this year. Nationals are swinging a hot bat, but in the last 5 games versus the Mets, but I just don't see it. The bullpen has been better. Nationals, they've only scored more than 2 runs one time versus the Mets, and that game ended 1-0. So even their team total went under in a win. So going to be a cold, rainy night, winds blowing in tomorrow at Citi Field. They're next to an airport. I think it could be a dead under game for the Nationals. I don't expect them to score any runs. I think the Mets could score some runs, but I like the Mets here. Think this is a game they need to win before they go on the road. But yeah, hopefully Nationals team total under for me.
I'm pleased you mentioned the weather, Dylan, the cold and the rain and the wind blowing in, because that does help with the pick of under 7, which is my play. I mean, the Mets, any game that the Mets win without Lindor, must feel like a bit of a bonus for them. Got that walk-off last night. It was Jose Iglesias. 10-game hitting streak. He's at 389 over that 10 games. So if you want some Iglesias props tomorrow, he's certainly the hot hand. DJ Hertz has pitched well lately for Washington, generally a 5 and dive, but 8 of his last 9 starts have gone for 2 or fewer earned runs. And as you'd expect with an offense like Washington's, that means 6 in a row of those games have gone under. Quintana's only given up 1 earned run in his last 4 starts, has won the last 3, covering the handicap. Both teams profitable to the under against left-handed pitching too. So I didn't need to go much further. I didn't see any evidence that gave me a dodgy feeling about the under. And that was before I saw the weather conditions. So that's a tick in another box, D-Rock. So yeah, give me the under 7. Absolutely delighted with that one. Next on the card is... Where are we going? Let's have a look. 7:40 Eastern first pitch is the Detroit Tigers and the Kansas City Royals, where left-handed pitcher Tarek Skubal goes for the Tigers. For the Royals, it will be Alec Marsh, who are plus 122. Detroit are minus 144. I have not written the total down. Let's have a look. 8 is the total there. Dylan, this was a really, really short handicap for me. A lot of talk about the Tigers lately. Myself and Munaf talked them up a lot yesterday. Best record in baseball, 22. And let me have a look. I've got it written down here. 22 and something since June. Since the start of June, they've been absolutely on fire. Best record in baseball. Another win yesterday, a come from behind win. Noah was messaging me, Noah Beanick from the college football experience, used to help out on this show, really excited and enthused about these Tigers. And now they've got momentum behind them and they get a start behind their stud pitcher against Alec Marsh, who's all right, isn't he? But he's bang average. I just didn't want to get in front of Detroit at this point. Minus 144 for a team with all things going in their favour. And they've got their stud on the mound in Skubal, who's got a 16-4 record with a 2.50 ERA. Straight up Detroit pick, Dylan.
Just wanted to answer me, Cal, real quick and address the chat. UFC did pretty good 4-3 this past weekend at UFC Noche. Did you catch the Sphere? I know it was past your bedtime, but it was incredible. Did you see it, Mal?
I haven't seen any of it, mate. No.
Oh, you got to go. Next time you're out in Vegas with the wife and kids, go to the Sphere, go catch a show. I got to do it as well. But yeah, back to MLB real quick. On this game, I like what I've seen from the Tigers. I really do. I really hope they make the playoffs as well. They've been a very fun team. Personally, I don't know if I would lay 144 with the Tigers on the road, even with Skubal on the mound. My numbers only made them a minus 135 favorite. If anything, I saw it opened up at 8.5. There are 8.5s out there, so shop around. My total came out to 7.6, so I would lean under. Obviously, you got Skubal going for the Tigers and Alec Marsh going for the Royals. And last time Skubal faced the Royals team, they smacked him around. They lost 9-2. Actually, the last 2 times he's faced the Royals, they smacked him around. So that is my concern with laying a big number with the Tigers on the road. I think Alex Marsh has looked good since coming back in his last 3 home starts, and all 3 have gone under the total as well. So I think we could see more of a pitcher's duel as opposed to, Tigers kind of blowing them out. So I would be worried. The number is going to continue to come in on the Tigers, and by tomorrow, they're probably going to be minus 150, minus 160. So a little hesitant, but I do think it could be an under game.
Yeah, completely agree with you. But yeah, we'll take the Tigers with the under, Dylan. Happy with that. Next game is 7:40 Eastern. This will be the penultimate game that we cover on the show between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Milwaukee Brewers. It is Aaron Nola who draws the start for the Phillies. Going to the hill for the Brewers will be Freddie Peralta, and it is a match on the books, minus 108 each of 2, with a total of 7.5. D-Rock, hard to split this one.
Yeah, I like the Brewers here at home, minus 108. My numbers made them a minus 120 favorite here at home. I think the total is low as well at 7.5. My total came out to 8.6. I just can't trust Aaron Nola right now. He has not looked good in the month of September. Phillies, they've lost 2 of his last 3 starts. Meanwhile, on the other side, Freddie Peralta, in my opinion, has been better this past few starts. Walks continue to be a problem for him, but he does give the Brewers good length. He doesn't usually give up the long ball. And, to be honest, I believe in the Brewers offense right now a little more than I do the Phillies. I think they're scoring more runs. I think they're more consistent offense as well. They're one of the best teams at home in the league, and I just think they're playing a little better right now. So I just trust the Brewers at home here. Gonna fade Aaron Nola. I haven't liked what I've seen from him. So yeah, minus 108. Give me the Brewers.
Yeah, the Brewers' magic number down to 2 now. And I noticed last night that Colin Rea picked up his first save, a pitcher that we've been handicapping as a starter all year. So that's just a little nod to what might be happening in the postseason. So interesting times if you're a Brewers fan. Yeah, Nola's not made it out the 4th inning his last twice, giving up 6 and 4 earned runs doing it. No question, he's more vulnerable on the road. Peralta going well, you're right. He still walks too many batters, but he's relatively consistent, and he always gives the Brewers a chance. And I think this is a good chance to capitalise on a poor Nola start. Totally agree with you. Nola might just be having a little dip after a long season. The Brewers are 10-4-2 against right-handed pitching in the first 5 in the last 30 days. And the Brewers are good at home as well. I've got the Brewers, but I'm going to take them on the first 5, Dylan. Brewers first 5 will be my play in this one. And the final game on the card, this is another good one. It is the New York Yankees at the Seattle Mariners, which will go off at 9:40 Eastern. Left-handed pitcher, Nestor Cortez for the Yankees, Bryce Miller for the Mariners. Mariners plus 106 home underdogs. Yankees minus 124. Total 7.5. Nestor Cortez 9-10 on the year, 3.90 ERA. He's pitching well. Not quite as sharp on the road. The Yankees have won 5 of his last 6 starts. But Bryce Miller's going well, particularly at home, where he's got a 1.99 ERA. This is the exact same game that we handicapped for Tuesday night between Luis Hill and Brian Wu. It's another Seattle pitcher with a home ERA below 2. And I'm going to take the same pick, which is the Mariners. The Mariners is a small dog for the second night running. The offense and the bullpen stats slightly favour them. And like I say, we've got another pitcher who's been great at home. So I'm going to take Seattle again. I think they can win certainly one, if not both of these games against the Yankees, Dylan.
Yeah, give me the home puppy, Mal. I actually made the Mariners a minus 130 favorite here. Both teams playing well. Maybe a little too late for Seattle to make the playoffs, but hopefully they finish out strong. 7-3 in their last 10. And surprisingly, their offense has picked it up. They've scored 5+ runs in 4 of their last 5 games. And you mentioned it, Bryce Miller has been great at home for the Mariners. Hasn't allowed more than 1 run at home in 3 straight starts. Nestor Cortez, he obviously isn't the same pitcher on the road than he is at home. He has been better since the beginning of the year, but I just trust Miller in this spot. I'm going to trust my numbers here. Take the home puppy. I thought it should have been closer. I didn't think the Yankees deserved to be this big of a favorite, but yeah, plus 106. Give me the home puppy.
Okay, love that, Dylan. Little team ride at the end there. Okay, the 10 main games in the book. Little glance around the rest of the card, Dylan. Not much to blow your skirt up. What have we? White Sox Angels, no thanks. TBD pitcher for the Cubs, so nothing much in that one. Red Sox a TBD. All of these teams just phoning it in now. Pittsburgh TBD, Blue Jays TBD. So we couldn't really handicap them if we wanted to. Dylan, find us a lock and a dog, please.
All right. I'll start with the dog, and it's just what I gave you. I like the Mariners. Like I said, my numbers made him a favorite. So at home with Bryce Miller, who I think is better than Nestor Cortez. They're swinging a hot bat. I like them at home. I think they could edge out a win. For my lock, I think we both felt really high on this. The Guardians here at home, like I said, they've just owned the Twins. You said the numbers 8-2 overall this season. Tanner Beebe has looked great this season against the Twins, 2-0 with a 1.50 ERA. I think we're going to fade Bailey Ober here. So I like them at minus 108. And then another bonus lock. I do like the Brewers here. I'm going to continue to fade Aaron Nola here. Like you said, I think after a very long season, I just think it might be a little too much for him. On the road against a top 10 team might be a tough situation for him. So, yeah, Brewers money line as well, double lock.
Okay, thanks, mate. I'm just trying to find a decent underdog for tomorrow. My underdog, I like Houston tomorrow. I like Framber Valdez. And I'm not convinced Cease hadn't been that sharp until his last start. And I think the circumstances benefited him last time. I'm going to take Houston on the run line, which is a price of plus 152. So a nice price there in Houston to cover a spread. And for my lock, Mets are a tiny bit short. I like the Brewers first 5. happy to fade Nola. And Peralta's been going well at home. Brewers are really strong at home. So I think the Brewers' first five's a nice play. And yeah, like I said, yeah, Houston on the run line is my dog. Finally, Dylan, can we get a dingers? Who have you picked out?
Yeah, let's go back to that Minnesota and Cleveland game. I'm going to take Jose Ramirez to hit home run off of Bailey Ober. He's given up 6 home runs in the last 8 starts, and Ramirez, he's really had a nice career off of Ober. 313, 2 doubles, 5 singles with a home run. He's just seeing the ball extremely well. His last home run did come over the weekend against the Rays on Saturday. So, I do think tomorrow night could be a good spot for the Guardians. I think they're going to be in control for most of this game. And I just think this could be a good spot for Ramirez to hit another one. So, yeah, give me Jose Ramirez to have number 36.
Okay. I'm pitching where Kansas tomorrow, Alec Moore. Right, Dylan, is the weather tomorrow at the Mets going to preclude any home run hitting?
I wouldn't take any home runs for the Mets tomorrow.
Right,
Maybe
okay.
Mark
'Cause I
Vientos.
like Alonso, but I do like the look of JD Martinez tomorrow to
He
potentially
did just
hit
have a
one out.
kid, so now he's a father. So that's always a
Oh, there you
plus.
go, dad power.
Yep.
Jordan Montgomery, have we got any lefty for Arizona? Yes, I've got one. Love it. We'll fancy loads of runs, don't we, in Colorado against Arizona. And I'm going to go for Hunter Goodman, outfielder. I think he hit one last night, Monday night, Hunter Goodman. So he can follow up against E-Rod. Doesn't mind hitting the left. He's could even get one if you're watching live. He might get one tonight as well. So against it's Jordan Montgomery tonight. But yeah, Hunter Goodman, I will take for Colorado against E-Rod and the Diamondbacks. D-Rock, I think we did it. Is there anything else you want to tell the people before we go?
No, thanks guys for tuning in continuously, with NFL and college football coming back. We're just about a week or two away until playoffs, and that's the best time in baseball. Playoff baseball, I know going to the games atmosphere feels like playoff baseball. So can't wait for that. And yeah, just appreciate you guys.
Yeah, exactly the same, Dylan. Yeah, do us a favor, like, rate, review, tell a friend, go and grab the kids and your partners, laptop and tablet, and subscribe on their behalf. Michael, thank you. Enjoyed chatting to you tonight. Gio was kicking around as well. If you ever do get a chance to come into the chat, it certainly is what makes the show. Dylan, appreciate your work and help. Good luck, everybody, with all your bets. We'll be back tomorrow night. Until then, we will see you down the road. Cheers.